It is Taxi Vlog 148. Well, what are you beeping at me for? Taxi Vlog 148. It is the 22nd of March 2011, 8 p.m. Yes, it is. It even says so on the clock. Well, this last week has been somewhat interesting and somewhat not so interesting. Friday night I came to work and it was a terrible disappointment, but that was almost to be expected because Thursday was St. Patrick's Day, so a lot of people got the partying and money out of their system on Thursday night. Friday night came along and it was like, oh, hungover, nobody wants to go anywhere, nobody wants to do nothing. So it was a disappointing Friday. The Saturday came along and it was about your average Saturday for this time of year, maybe a little less than, you know, what would be expected. But I was not too disappointed because I had a airport run in the morning, and I was making up for all the I was getting some cash out of the deal, using up the Interac credits that I had from the week before to pay the lease on the cab, so that actually I'd have some money in my pocket. Sunday night I came to work and it was slow. Yeah, it was slow. But a funny thing happens on Sunday nights. Sometimes it does pick up around 11. And between 11 and 1 is your money-making window. I had a fare at about, I guess, 11:30, maybe midnight or so. Anyway, I got sent to this hotel, or actually, you know, motel in lobby thing, and I got there and there was no lobby, and it said the guy was in room 138. Now it's a motel style thing, but of course they don't have any lights on the door, so you can't see the numbers on the room. So I just slowly drove through the parking lot, and then at one point I hear this, hey, 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 like that. Okay, so I stop in my tracks and I stay there, and this short, somewhat round man, you know the type? They're kind of short, and so they think they got something to prove. Gets in my car, reeking of beer, saying he wants to go downtown to the tattoo festival. Well, I was not aware there was a tattoo festival, but I figured, okay, go downtown. He told me where the tattoo festival was going to happen, and I thought, okay, that's the end of that. But I don't know if he was doing cocaine besides drinking the beer, but he had to say he was from Nova Scotia. And he was from Nova Scotia. I forget what his name was, but he introduced himself to me about 4 times. Well, we're heading downtown. You know how much I made last year? You know, really, I don't fucking care how much money you made last year. But I made $140,000 last year. $140,000. Well, that's good, I say. He says, yeah, that's something, isn't it? That's something. Yeah, that's something. It's more than I ever made, but I don't care. Half of it goes to taxes anyway. So he starts telling me about his 3 daughters. How the first one is a teacher. The second one just graduated, and she's a, I don't know, secretary or some fucking thing. I don't remember. And the third daughter, she just has 1 year to go. 1 year to go. And he said, and I paid for all their education. Well, you know, I'm sure they're proud of their dad, you know, but I just sat here and just calmly said, oh, that's good, you know. Sort of nodded my head at appropriate times while watching, you know, things like traffic lights and stuff. It's all good. And my wife up and left me. She's a teacher, makes $60,000 a year. I'm thinking, well, that's not a bad living either. You know, it's pretty good. But I made $140,000 last year, he says. I'm gonna buy me a Harley Softail. Whatever the fuck that means, I don't know, from Harleys. I'm gonna buy me a Softail, yes I will. Brand new, $23,000. Okay, good for you. Did you see my tattoo? Look at my arm. Look at my arm. Shows me his arm and it's all illustrated. And it's like, tattoos have never done shit for me. I don't give a crap. I don't give a rat's ass. For some people, I guess it's a status symbol. Status symbols don't impress me. You know, if they did, I would be hunting for them and in search of them and collecting them. I don't fucking care. Transmission slipped again. It's been doing that for ever since I started driving this thing almost 2 years ago. Yet it hasn't broken yet. This is a remarkable vehicle. I digress. So she up and left me, he says. She left me for the janitor at the school, who makes $30,000 a year. Isn't that fucked up? There's something wrong with that picture. That fucking crazy? I make $140,000 a year. And I was thinking in the back of my mind, could it be your attitude? Could it be something to do with your personality or lack thereof? But I said nothing like that. I just sort of sat there and nodded my head and nodded my head. And did I tell you I was going to be getting a Harley Softail? But we're going down for the tattoo festival to see some tattoos. A lot of pretty women in this town, eh? And I'm thinking, well, I said they look better in summer. Oh, yes, they do, bye. So anyway, we get down there, and we get to the place where the tattoo thing is gonna happen. And the guy gives me a 20. It's $14.90 on the clock. So I hunt around and I find a 5 and I give him his 5. And he looks at me kind of strangely, like, as if expecting me to find another dime to give him in change. What a fucking prick. He says, oh, it's alright, keep the change. Keep the change. And he looks at me with these little beady rat eyes of his, you know, rat eyes. Stuck a little too close together on his face. Pointy little nose. Round belly. And I'm thinking, man, have you got a lot to learn. But I didn't say shit. Well, that night turned out okay because I had another one that went to the airport, paid cash. Because all week I've been discouraging people from using Interac. I say, well, you know, I'd rather have cash, and I'll be happy to pause the meter if we go to a bank machine, or if you have the cash, you know, that would really help, because the owner of the cab still owes me a lot of money for the Interac that I did last week. And that seems to work with people. They say, well, doesn't he ever pay you? I say, no, it just goes towards future leases on the car. You go, oh, that sucks! Oh, yeah, I'll pay cash, yeah. It's wonderful how that works on people. or at least some of them. Except if they're spoiled rotten, they have no idea of brotherhood of man, and they're selfish and they don't fucking care, and they just want to be doing Interac. So last night, I come to work looking forward to actually working. I think I waited an hour and 45 minutes for my first call. Ooh. Bicycle and crosswalk. I hate crosswalks. And you should use a lower gear because you're pedaling too slow and it's too hard on your legs. Fuck, some people are stupid. Anyway, getting on from there, by midnight now, or by 11 I guess, I had my second customer. By 1:30 I had my third. I had my fourth customer around I don't know what time it was, but it was late. It was like 2 or something. So then I get back to my little parking lot, pull out the computer again to look at some more YouTube videos, and I watch for about a half hour. Then I get a call, and that call is to the gas station out on the highway. From that particular place, it can be going anywhere. You got to think now that most of my night is done already. I was here from 8 till about 2. 6 hours, and I haven't made a profit yet. I haven't broken even yet. And so I pick up this guy at the gas station thinking he's just going to go a couple blocks. He says, "Can we go to Shawnigan Lake?" I said, "Well, yeah, sure." And I had to work it delicately to him, you know. I said, "I don't know if the Interac works up there, so if you're paying with a credit card or Interac, you know, I don't want to end up getting out there and not getting paid and having to drive back." He said, "Oh, no problem, we can hit the next gas station on the highway. They got a bank machine there, I'll get you some cash." No problem. It's a little nicer way of saying it than, "I gotta see money first before I take yous out there." Sure enough, he was good about it. He gave me $80 in cash. So we drove out to Shawnigan Lake. It was a pleasant little drive out into the country. We got there, it was $65 or so on the meter. He says, "Oh, just give me a $5 back." So $75 I got for that trip. And I drove back into town. Or I started to drive back into town. I was half an hour out and my phone rings, and it was a private customer of mine. I don't do private customers often. In fact, I only have one private customer that I do that has my phone number and that I will take. But she's a friend of ours. She's a friend of mine and Cindy's, so I'll be glad to do her, you know, the favor of taking her home. But I told her, "I'm sorry, I can't. I'm half an hour out unless you don't mind waiting." She says, "No, I gotta get home." So, okay. Come on, change. Turn green. So I, you know, drove back into town, and I started watching a couple more videos, and my eyelids were getting heavy, and I put the computer away and fell asleep. I think it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock. At 20 to 5, the MDT goes click, 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 beep. I slip through it. It goes click, 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 click again. And I'm waking up. And I wasn't fast enough to answer it. And it said trip declined. So I was sitting for, yeah, almost 2 hours and missed a call. Fortunately, about 3 minutes later, another call came in because it was morning. It was a guy who was still drunk from the night before. and he paid Interac. Well, if not for the ride out to Shawnigan, I would have made $10 or less for my night, because I would have used less fuel, and that amount that I would have used less in fuel would have been my profit. I made $75 last night on 6 customers. 6 customers in 10 hours. Let's hope tonight is better than that, and that yours is better than mine. Thanks for watching.